I always have to have my energy juice.
I think practicum is important because it gives the students a time to develop their art process. It's a time to understand what it is to be an artist outside of the education program. It's where you don't have to complete an assignment based on what the teacher wants, but you have that opportunity to explore and mess around with your medium and try new things and kind of take it from its beginning standpoint into like something else.
I hate it when I can't use the original stuff that came with what I'm using, because like this nail or this screw goes with it and it's all rusty, but it's not long enough because I broke it earlier. I could use a screwdriver, but that wouldn't be as precise as I want it to be. It'd be a lot faster though.
So what are you using?
I'm using a hand screwdriver instead of a drill. Like I could use a drill and it'd be so much faster, but I'd probably end up breaking something. I feel like I have a tiny bit more control when I use hand tools versus electronic ones or electrically powered ones. Where did my wire go? I don't want these hinges to move, because if they do, if I have wax stuff draped over this and the hinges move, the whole thing is gonna like collapse, which would be really bad. I kind of learned that from my first practicum piece. I did a wax thing on a board and I didn't think about how to hang it until after I'd made it, and then I had to like screw stuff into it while it was finished. It was so nerve-wracking. I don't want to do that again. I feel like right now my photography process is a little behind my sculpture process. Just because I do like working so much with three-dimensional things. But the good thing is I'm in photo manipulation, so I'm starting to be able to use like stuff for photograms. So I'm like, that's kind of still using three-dimensional things. I really like doing portraits too. Those are really fun.
I do a lot of different things, but mostly what I do is I get paper wet and then fold it into like different sculptural forms and kind of like crumple it up, kind of like maybe this would be, and then I throw ink onto it and let it dry, and then I peel up the form and it makes these like really textural, there's a good example, like right in there is a good example. These really like textural, folded, almost symmetrical, but not really forms. And after that, like I've made a lot of those. Last year I was trying to make like compositions out of them, but that didn't work as effectively because I don't really ever know what the ink is going to do, and so it's very free and flowing wherever it decides to go. So now I'm trying to make compositions out of them afterward, and better understand the ink itself so that I can add in more different like graphic forms with like pencil and pen, or hopefully eventually make some sculptures out of them, doing that kind of thing.
What? Get that thing up.
Hey, what's that corner behind you?
Hold on. I think maybe as tight as you can.
So you're like sticking to the front of the thing?
Yeah.
Practicum is a time each semester that we get to take off studio classes, so studio classes just stop, so that it makes space for time for doing our own individual work and our own authentic processes, or learn how to work authentically, so that when we're done with the school and the schoolish kind of work that is necessary to some degree, the craft and the skills that we need to learn, we won't be stuck out in the world without having any idea what our own personal work is. So it gives us space to do that. It's sort of I think it's sort of a finding out, a time to find a lot out about yourself too, like how your work ethic is. Are you capable of motivating yourself, or do you need to be motivated by assignments and teachers and grades, because those aren't necessarily going to be there for you when you graduate or when you get out into the world. So this provides a time to like know your work ethic, and then know yourself. Like, who are you as an artist? Not as a student, not as someone fulfilling assignments, but who are you?
I don't know. There's a certain sense of compulsion you can't get away from, and I think we all kind of create, and some of us spend more time trying to better that, trying to elevate what we create to a level outside of amateur. I don't know, but I do think just kind of something we do as human beings. You couldn't help yourself from like putting stuff together if you're playing in sand, or I don't know.
What I'm doing just this past couple weeks sort of stemmed from drawing, I guess. So I started just drawing things kind of from like the daily drawing. I guess it probably started with like the daily drawing exercises. So you just do a little drawing every day, and so I started doing a lot of drawing for practicum, or at least more drawing, but that I was only able to do that during the day because I needed light. So I would come back and kind of like practice making marks to use in the drawings during the day, and then it got pretty fun to just make the marks themselves. I don't know, and I started making marks on different paper and seeing what I could do to push the limits of the paper almost, because this is very thin thin paper, and I've been using some paint and well, not very big found objects, but like a couple things like magazine clippings and seeds and stuff, and responding to that, I guess, with marks. And so lately I've been drawing during the day, and from those drawings, like using some of the marks of the drawings in these more at night. So a lot of these are based on the drawings that I've done earlier. And some of them are just completely made up. Or some of them also are from things that I've found, like these berries. They start out as berries, and then maybe they still sort of look like berries, I'm not sure. But then I kind of play with them, and then they kind of drift away. Sort of. Sometimes they don't. It's still very much, I don't know if this is what it will end up being, or if it will lead somewhere completely different. But this is where I am at the moment.
I don't know if there's anything to explain. I just kind of go for it and just respond to the different forms and the shapes as I work. Kind of like a dialogue with the piece. I like its personality. I like, I don't know how forgiving it is and how willing it is to take shape and to be something, I guess, anything. Just a very willing. It's a very friendly material. I won't know what he needs until I guess keep working on him and try different things, and yeah. I'll just spend more time with him, get to know him, I think. That's what I should do.
And Jordan has to record the bun process of how I don the bun. Nobody ever sees how I don it. It's just there. But here we are making of my buns. There we go, cool. Narcissism at its best. I'm really not, maybe a little. I forgot my tripod.
You gotta go get it?
No, it's okay. It's on the hood of the car. It's just kind of like, hey, you forgot me. Whenever I see something, I have to. I feel like there's no option. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no. Because when I see something, I just feel compelled to capture it, and I don't feel like there's a choice as to get it and not get it, because it's just, I'm just in the moment and I have to capture what I see, and that's for nobody's benefit but my own. And that's just, what I feel called to do.
So many pictures, so many processes, so many experiments.
Oh well, I'll just make do with this. Broke some scissors yesterday. I didn't think that was possible. Tried to cut some wire with it. At first I started taking pictures of people I know really well, and then I got to the point where I could ask random people. So that was good, because I think if I wouldn't have done that, I probably would just take pictures of people I know and that'd be it. I don't know. I didn't think I would be good at it or that I would like it when I started doing it, because I'm not really social. I'm not good at carrying on conversations, I don't feel like. And so when I started doing it, it was kind of forced me to talk to people, and I don't know.
I guess I start somewhere in an experience years before actually doing anything. So you come to a period in your life where you can get some clarity on what you've done before, not necessarily in terms of art, but sometimes in terms of art. But more just who you are as a person and who you're growing into. And I think that's where the process starts, is looking at that and then figuring out what you want to emphasize or share, or even what do you want to do to help yourself grow as a human being, and the byproduct is almost the art. Yeah, I don't know.
This actually has a dead lizard on it. He's a pancake, actually. It's a pancake lizard. I kind of collect things, and I end up collecting all these. That's why I have just all this random kind of junk everywhere. Is I collect things, and then as I work with the material, they kind of respond to each other, and I like how they go together. Just like these little light bulbs. Just kind of how they fit perfectly in there, or, those little guys. There's just kind of a rightness to it, I guess, and how the different forms speak to each other. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't work well together, and that's kind of why I'm experimenting a lot, is trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
I've spent a lot of time just making them, but I haven't spent any time just seeing what I've made and kind of observing what it's doing. Besides on a really big level, oh, that's making gigantic marks like this.
I think the way I work is 80% looking at the ground and picking stuff up, or looking in dumpsters, or looking in gas station, really sketchy gas station parking lots, or just different places. Sometimes I go to thrift stores, but I don't really like doing that too much, because I kind of like the idea of chance. Whatever I need is going to find me. I don't really have to go look for it specifically. I know it sounds kind of pretentious, but I mean, I found this chair, when was it? Last semester, and I didn't know what I was going to use it for. I didn't have any ideas for it. I was just I feel like I need this. So yeah, I'd definitely say 80% of it's based on just materials that I have. And usually the way the materials work has a lot to do with it, wax. I didn't even search for the wax either. They were getting rid of stuff in the biology department, and it's histology wax. So they use it for tissue samples. They slice a really thin piece and then put it in between the wax and cut it up. Sorry, I gotta concentrate for this. It's not gonna work. little hags I got from the biology department. And the thing I really liked about it was, one, that you can melt it, and two, it's perfect to experiment with, because you can like make something and melt it, and like if you don't like it, you just make it again. Like you just destroy that one and make it again. And that's been really good because oh yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's been good because, like, I don't know, it's fragile, which is kind of bad, but kind of like that it's fragile. Like, I don't know, it's something that's always transitioning from like one kind of state of being to another, because like you can either make it a liquid or like a solid, or it's like a gel for a little while. It's never like, you know, guaranteed to stay the way it is. I mean, even when it's dry, it breaks easily, so it's like kind of touch and go. But that's kind of what I like about it. And like if something breaks, then it just wasn't meant to happen, you know. And I've had that happen a lot. And I just, if I keep doing it and it doesn't work, I just give it a rest for a while. Maybe revisit it, it might not. As far as the way, like, I guess like the other materials I work with a lot of gelatin capsules and like, I guess now kind of medical equipment, which I don't really think I was gonna work with, but it just kind of started happening. My dad and my sister both have diabetes and have to take insulin every day. And my sister especially has struggled a lot with controlling it and that kind of thing. And so I just got some syringes from my dad, actually, which is really hard for my parents, because I used to be a drug addict. And so I was like, just dip the ends in super glue so I can't use them. But not that I would, because I've been clean for like 4 years or 3 years, but I don't know. I just feel like sickness and like people just don't want to talk about sickness, you know? Like they don't want to acknowledge it, especially mental illness. And a lot of people don't think that's like a real thing, or they're like, you're possessed, you just need to go get prayed for. And I mean, we're chemical as well as spiritual beings. So I mean, like, I don't know. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, but
Well, it gives them an idea of what it will be like to kind of work on their own, with their own motivation, and kind of form their own like work ethic and process on their own. And instead of just working on assignments, this allows people to kind of explore different avenues that they could possibly carry on till like after they graduate and become working artists. It's about the process and experiment, and it's a safe place to do it too. I'm not sure how this guy's gonna come off. go. Oh my God.
So cool.
I like that one. It held its shape really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled away a little bit. The lizard's still there.
I think a lot of my process starts with drawing, because that's what I really love, like the rawness of drawing, I think, or maybe just, I don't know, I really like drawing. And so it starts with like looking at things and drawing them from life. Pretty is fairly representationally to begin with, and getting to know them, like kind of like shaking their hand. And then like I never know quite where it's gonna go after that, but sometimes they just continue as drawings that are representational. Like this one, I think I need to draw it a couple more times, but yeah, it's pretty much staying as a drawing of a coffee pot and a window and a basil plant. But I'm using some of the marks, like this basil plant appears over here as well. Like I was at the farmer's market Saturday, mostly to, not so much to make drawings, but to make, I don't know, I'm not quite sure why I was there, but I drew, and I need to go there more in order to get like more of, I think, a mature drawing out of it. But so far they've just been little thumbnails of, or sketches of the vegetables and things. I really enjoy going to the farmer's market. There's something, I don't know, there's a lot of really interesting human things about like talking to the people who grow the food, or like somebody just gave me a bunch of radishes and then somebody else gave me a bunch of peppers, not really for any reason, but and I had some good conversations with people who are vendors, and one lady I talked to said that she used to draw, but she hadn't for like many years, and so me and Mary Ainsley were drawing the vegetables in the stand over, and so she was just talking to us and stuff, and she's like, oh, well, maybe I'll draw again, and it's kind of a cool thing. So I told her I'd be back next week and maybe we can draw together. But that made me really happy.
I'm a very lazy individual, but coupled with my laziness is like a drive that is brought on by my laziness, because you get into a situation where the only way out is through, and then you just have to sell your life for a certain amount of time to making that happen. And I do think, and this is maybe a little off topic, but practicum is here to teach us that your entire life should be this process-oriented creation, and you can't keep going on and on forever at the same speed, at the same rate, output being the same. You have to take breaks. You have to take time to think, reflect, work on something much different than what you generally do. take a vacation, either just a mental vacation or an actual vacation. You need balance in your life, but you also have a focus, and the focus, if you intend to be an artist in some capacity, is being an artist. So that's going to look a little different for everybody, but essentially making art, or making things that other people call art. And to do that, you have to be constantly looking, constantly observing. Like your whole life is this observation. It is, when you wake up, you start observing. When you're asleep, you're dreaming, and if you remember your dreams, you're observing, and you don't ever turn off. It's if you're out having a blast with your friends, may not be like actively thinking about what you're observing, but you are nonetheless using your eyes, using your brain, and it could be subconscious observation, but it's still there, and you have to have not the wit necessarily, but the ability, the desire to sort of pull out from those experiences things that you think are relevant and worthwhile for sharing to other people. And that's just something that practicum is there so that you can get accustomed to that and then incorporate it into your life. And so it never shuts off, even though it's 1 month here, 1 month there, and then you have a show. But it's much bigger than that, and I think that's what they're trying to teach.
So my process has kind of changed a lot over the course of my years at Belhaven. And it's something that changes as you get older and you learn more about yourself. But right now, I'm trying to get this level, and it's not working. But what my process looks like right now is going out and just capturing the world as I see it and as it happens. And I like to go places just once. So for instance, we're in Canton right now, and this is the second time I've seen this building in about 4 years. And not a whole lot has changed. This building was part of a suite of work that I did for my freshman year. And now I'm back. And a little bit has changed, and I'm noticing different things, which is awesome. Right now I'm more stimulated by color and by the way the light is affecting the color and affecting the scene. So that panel right there is, the way it's dancing about is very interesting to me, and it's something that I feel led to capture. There we go, there we go. Woo! That was an artist haunt for a good job.
Which one? This one?
Whichever one you want.
This one.
Bob the Swan. Bob Swanson.
Queen of Putrid! Queen of rubbish! The Queen of Putrid! Bow down to her! Bow!
I think it gives us confidence outside of the classroom in our art field, and I think it allows us the time to work through our process outside of the classroom. And it's awesome because we have the couple of months of class time to learn things and to have those assignments to teach us and to prepare us with those skills that we can use in practicum, but practicum is the time to take them further or take them the way we want to or how we feel like they're leading us to manipulate them or explore in them and everything.
Like I was thinking the other day, like even with the whole wax thing, like that it's so fragile. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I make myself look like this, or not make myself, but people tend to think I'm like this really tough person and that I'm kind of like don't care and stuff, but really I'm like, I hate being vulnerable and like I'm always kind of in self-protection mode. But yeah, I think a lot of my past dictates kind of, or not dictates, but you know, has a lot of influence on what I'm doing. Working with pill capsules, it's like kind of an obvious reference to drug use, and I like the whole idea of just like a little small like encapsulated thing that has these small like tiny chemicals in it that just change like everything. Like you just take one little capsule and like your headache's gone, or like, I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool. But it's like good and bad, because I mean, you can overdo it very easily. Oh yeah.
Held its shape. Look at that. It's interesting.
Really looks like a jellyfish.
Well, that's cool. There we go.
When I was here before, I was not in the right mind to really be able to make anything honestly and, you know, what's the word? Authentically, there we go. Because my, you know, mind was always so altered that I never could really get to like what I was trying to say or like what I was trying to do. So I was just kind of going through the motions of it, and I feel like whenever I came back and I was clean, that it helped. I don't know, it's like I kind of like re-met myself. And so I feel like it's kind of where I found a lot of what I was doing. Because I kind of had no direction before. Like I just thought I was gonna do like some photography, maybe some drawing. I never planned to go into sculpture, but like ever since I was little, I've been like collecting things, and like I went through this stage when I was like 12. It's kind of cringy when I think about it, but I would like pick up like gross like rubber bands or like ropes or like wrappers of things, and I'd make like bracelets out of them. And I used to have like bracelets up to here of just trash. And my mom would be like, "Why are you wearing trash?" She's like, "I don't know, I like it." So yeah, I've always been, and my room growing up was always packed with junk. My mom would call it junk, but I liked it. Like, found a bowling pin one time and I was like, I just need to have this. My mom was not a fan, but she eventually accepted it because I wasn't gonna not do that.
Should be a better color. Get some more blue in there. It's all about the noises. I know the sphere that it affects that I can see, but I don't know what it means for other people that I haven't met, I haven't talked to, who glance at something that you do and then move on. I don't know what it means to them, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's not my place to even wonder about it. But what it means to me, it's not this freeing thing. It's almost like a ball and chain. You know, when you say, when you hear people say that art is this freeing ecstasy, it is that, but it's so much more painful and well, it's an enjoyable pain, a growing pain. It's but it is this part of you that you can't shut off. You know, it's nagging. It's like the friend that won't leave you alone. It's, you know, and for good reason, because it's there to enrich your life and enrich the lives of those around you. And I don't know how exactly, but I am very confident that it does do that. But I think there's more to any situation than you can ever see, and that you should ever try to see. I think it's your job or our jobs as visual people who are trying to make for other people or make for ourselves. It's just to get into the making, and then do that either by faith or by willpower or some sort of higher. There's a higher purpose in that. That's much further than the effect of a single moment or how it shapes your day or your year or even the next 5 years. It's this pinprick in the story that means a lot more than just the little pinprick, but it still is the pinprick. So it's a paradox, maybe.
While I enjoy being around the people at the farmers market, I wouldn't want to do that for everything, because I do need to, like, that's what I really like about being in the studio, and what I miss when I'm on location or something like that, is this like safeness that the studio has. Like, it's alone and quiet, pretty quiet and safe, and I think I need that too. So I don't think I could just draw at the farmers market. I'd need to be alone for a lot of it.
I usually don't finish my regular class, like studio projects, on time. So I kind of have that hanging over my head, and I'm like, oh, I gotta finish that before the end of the semester. So like, I don't know, not that it really affects what I'm doing during practicum, but it's kind of back there, you know? So I mean, I'm sure it affects it a little bit. The other thing is, like, obviously time. I feel like I don't have enough time to do what I want to do. It's not even like I have an idea of what I want to do. I'm just like, I need more time for it to develop. And I just feel rushed sometimes, but I mean, it's good to have deadlines, but I wish I could just have like a whole, like a practicum semester where you just create things and just learn things. Like I I need to learn some metalworking, like welding stuff, because I do work a lot with metal, and there's like, I don't know, I have to like do all that research and stuff myself because there's not technically a welding class. So it's like Nate shows us how everything works and, you know, gives us tips and stuff, but it's kind of like up to you if you really want to pursue it to get to where you can master it. So I'm gonna try to do that because I feel like that would benefit me a lot. I think like maybe another thing is like I don't struggle so much with motivation, but I struggle with sticking to one thing and doing it all the way through. Because I'll like start 7 different things and I'll just like bounce off of all the different ones, and I'm like, I don't know where any of these are going. So I just kind of keep slowly working on all the moves. So yeah, but I'd definitely say that time is like the most, I guess, the most annoying thing to kind of deal with. But I always get to where I'm like chomping at the bit around, you know, when it's time for practicum, because I'm just like, I'm ready to go do stuff. And I don't know. I really like it. I feel like I've learned a lot from doing it. Like, I mean, I learn a lot in classes too, but like, it's just something different about self-motivated creating. I know this sounds super cliche, but like finding your voice, like because you're not doing projects, and because it's not like, oh, you have to do a drawing or you need to do photography, like you can choose whatever you want. So like, say if you're like a sculptor and you're like, you know what, I want to try painting something, then like you can try it, and it's not like a, you know, you can just try it and see if it works out. And I mean, sometimes, you know, you end up with a piece and sometimes you don't, but like either way, you got your feet wet in something else that you wouldn't have normally tried. And it, I mean, doing that can like help you in your other processes anyway. So I think it I don't know, I get encouraged during practicum because it is self-motivated. Because I know like a lot of people, and me every now and then sometimes I'm like, you know, am I supposed to be like doing this? Like, am I supposed to make art and make things? And I feel like practicum kind of is like, yeah, you should probably do that. So it helps reassure that like I think I'm where I should be, and like even if I don't like make a piece when I finish practicum, if I just am doing stuff, I feel like I've learned so much more than I would if I was just finishing a project or doing an assignment. So, and plus it's not like, content can be whatever you want, which is wonderful. At least, well, with this one, well, most of the time it can be. In spring it definitely is with the materials, but in the fall, you know, it's like representationally based. And I'm like, I work with stuff, I don't know how much more representational I can get. Which is kind of funny. So I just work the same way in the spring and the fall. I don't know if that's like the right way to do it, but that's how I do it. I feel like, I mean, it's kind of like if you're, let's say if you're a lawyer and you go to law school, and say you've never done a mock trial before, and you go out into the real world, and you're like, oh, that's what it's like. Like, you've only heard about it and you've only done like papers on it. Like, but if you do like, if you practice it and you do it like you're in the situation and you're the only one responsible for what you're doing, I feel like you learn so much more because you're in it already. You know, like you're not just like, oh, well, I'll figure that out when I, you know, become an adult or whatever. Like, you have to kind of be focused on it now. So I think in that way it helps a lot because it kind of gives you a taste of what things could be like or hopefully can be like when you get out of school. And And like same thing I said earlier, like it gives me confidence and like reassures that I can do this. Because I feel like sometimes you can get bogged down by assignments. It's like, oh, and you're always critical of yourself, or I am at least. But I feel like practicum is like, it's more about learning than it is about getting a grade. Because I think sometimes we can get way too focused on like, I need to get an A, or, you know, I need to make a C to pass, or whatever. I just like the freedom of not having to worry about that so much. It's just more authentic and more honest to do it that way than, you know, like cater to like what a teacher likes or whatever just to get a certain grade in a class. So I don't know, I really like it. I don't think I would have, sorry, that sounds like propaganda. I don't think I really would have figured out my little niche or whatever if like practicum hadn't been a thing, or I went to a school that didn't have it.
She does good faces. She does good faces.
Don't you show that to anybody. You listen to me? You hear me, punk? You got this? You getting this message, huh? Huh? Huh?
If you find yourself in an emergency, you call D. Baldwin. That's who you call. Mr. D. Baldwin, I have an emergency. Could you help me? And keep out, no trespassing. It's more like a recommendation. It's not permanent.
That's a welcome.
But we do need to make it quick. I don't like that. Trying to be quick. Oh Lord, yes. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord, that was close. This is our job occupation for today. Urban exploring. And try not to get arrested. I don't think we'll get arrested. Take a minute and take it all in. And just enjoy it.
I'm always teetering on the edge of depression. That's a huge thing for me in my life and in my work. And trying to figure that out, or figure my faith out within the context of my work. Early on, I had to make a distinction between me and my work, and I think that did solve quite a few problems. But then you make a step into like a whole nother sort of problem, and it's maybe the meaning of it all. Is this oblivion that we fear something that we should fear? And if so, how does that affect the work? Or if we're saved from the oblivion, or this sense of meaninglessness, we don't have to create our own. Then how does that affect your work? And I don't know yet. I don't know. I have ideas and I have hypotheses, but I don't have the full picture yet. But especially for people starting out, or for new artists, you have to separate yourself from the work.
Like, I don't have like a nice little artist statement to sum up anything like most people do. I don't know, I think it's kind of like the universal transitions everybody goes through, like just being a human in general, because I mean we're always changing all the time. I guess that's kind of one thing. And then for me, it's not like I'm trying to send a certain message, like I'm trying to say this, or I'm using syringes because it's controversial, or whatever. Like, it's not so much that as it is like, I guess it's not so much that as it is recognizing that sometimes being a human sucks. Like, I don't know, especially I feel like Christians sometimes too can be like, oh, like as long as you're saved, life is great, like you'll be fine, you'll never have to deal with anything. When the truth is, like, when you are a believer, you're really bound to struggle more, like, because you do have this morality to keep up, and this, I guess, a goal that you're trying to get to as a person and as a spiritual being. I think what helps me the most, like, I'm gonna be honest, like I struggle a lot with doubt, like a lot, just because of my past and because of certain things and experiences I've been through. And I feel like making art's kind of a way to like work through that, because it's, it's like a non-verbal kind of journal making, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I feel, I know this sounds kind of cheesy, but like, I don't know, I just feel more connected when I'm making things. I can't really explain why. I just, like, to me, like, I mean, I do read my Bible as much as I can, but I'm like really bad at doing that. But like doing this, like I just feel like I'm doing more, like, not that, it's more important than like reading the word, but I don't know. It's more interactive, I guess, if that makes sense, because you're like responding to something, and I don't know. It's like you're talking to something and it's talking back to you, just not audibly.
It's hard to see
I've learned that it's easy to make your process about making your teacher happy, making it about other people, not about you. So it becomes like a huge people-pleasing craziness. And then you do all this work, and then you show them, and then they're like, you know, it's good, but you could have done a lot better, and it just breaks your heart. And it's so strange that, I don't know, it's just strange how that happens. So that's something that I've learned and I've had to deal with all throughout college. Not even just art, and life has been just about dealing with the struggle between my decisions and other people's happiness, and how the two kind of mix. I don't know if that makes any sense. I probably botched that all up, but that's how I think about it. Oh, here's a cool little fact that I've learned about myself in practicum. I cannot work alongside people, but I can't go out shooting with another person, because then it becomes this weird competition of like who can get like the most abstract stuff first, and it's just really strange. So I've learned a lot about how I make art and how it's a personal and almost private and almost secretive occurrence, happening, because I feel like it has to be that way for me. It has to be secret. It has to be so private that if anybody were watching me, they'd see like the most vulnerable side of me. So that's been fun to learn. You just gotta like enjoy this for a minute.
Practicum gives us the confidence to pursue our process of art, and so that when we graduate, we already have explored a lot. Practicum definitely does benefit us in that way, to where we have already had the chance to explore, and we've already had the chance to grow as artists, not just as art students. And I think that it definitely helps and provides Belhaven students with the chance to further their process within school, and so that they will be further along when they graduate. Whereas, you know, some schools in art, it's just they've been doing assignments for so long that when they graduate, they don't really know what specific art process that they're supposed to follow, because they've been in the classroom setting for so long.
Right now I'm working on the back of, or at least possibly the back of this same paper, because it's semi-transparent. A lot of the marks show through if you work on the back. And I'm calling it the back for now. It may not end up being the back, I'm not sure. we'll see. It's really frightening sometimes, but at the same time, it's also comforting because you don't have to know, and you just have to keep doing and just do enough, and it sort of takes on a life of its own, and kind of you don't have to worry about it then. It's sort of off your shoulders, and you can just make things. So that's comforting. But it's not to say that it's like, oh yeah, it's the easiest thing in the world to just like let it go where it wants to or anything like that. But I think it's been really, really good. And yeah, it's not as stressful, and it's really hard for me to make any art if I'm really stressed. I end up being rushed and not concentrated, and it's not good.
So many negatives, so many pictures, so many processes, so many experiments, and it's all worth it.
My relationship with the Lord is something that is very important to me, and it's something that I feel that art. I don't know. But let's get this last picture and head out. Faster than I want it to be, but I don't think I can't see my relationship being with the Lord and not having art making in the mix, because this is something that I don't feel obligated. I think obligated is the wrong word, but that's the only word I can come up with. I definitely feel it's something that is commanded of me, and it's not like commanded like in an oppressive way, but it's, I mean, we're here for the sole purpose to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. And to me, as an artist in a creepy building, glorifying God looks like capturing the world around me and experiencing His grace and experiencing His promises and experiencing the gospel. And those are things that leave me with emotions that I can't just let go. I have to put them into something. And for me, that's photographing decrepit buildings like this and finding beauty in them and finding restoration and finding rest in this, because what I'm doing is something that's mine. It's something that gives me rest and reminds me of why I'm here, which is to make art and to, well, obviously to make art and to remember the promises that God has set forth, which is that we're only here temporarily, and that the Savior will come back to bring us home. It sounds really cheesy. Is my car there? I think my car's there. Oh, if it got towed, man, this would be fun. Woo! There she is, no tickets. All right, let's get out of here. Doing this, going out and photographing and not having really an idea what I'm gonna photograph is, I think for me, it's a lot of it's about just enjoying the gift that God has given me, which is to see differently, to see beyond what other people can see, to see colors in a different way, to see compositions in a different way. And I'm out here and I'm flexing those muscles, and I think that glorifies God, and that's something that I'm happy to do. It's something that doing this is what I love to do. Flex those muscles.
Dang it, there's so much crap I don't want in here. I mean, I want some crap in here, but not that much.
How's your stuff going? Are you still doing seppuku? That was you, right? You did seppuku, okay. I decided I should go.
I dipped my hand in it super hard. Get out of there.
Better, nothing will happen. So there's no point.
I want this to look more nasty. It's too clean. I don't like how clean it is. So, I mean, it just feels out of place. It feels like a stranger in a strange land. It just doesn't, it just seems wrong. I don't know why. It just seems like it's not supposed to be there. Like in theory, it's already not supposed to be there. So when it doesn't match, like not even match, when it doesn't even like go with it at all, and it really looks like it doesn't belong there. Oops. I just kind of look at it and I'm like, well, first thing I think about is like, how is it gonna drape? And the second thing I think about is it actually gonna like stay that way, or is it gonna like crumble as soon as it dries, or like is it gonna start like bending the wrong way? Right now I'm thinking like logistically, I want to start putting stuff over here because I want to be able to start composing stuff and balancing things out. But at the same time, I know at some point I'm gonna need to suspend the chair by a different means, because the way I have it right now, I'm not going to be able to get to these rungs where I want to in the middle. So I'm thinking if I start doing like stuff over here too, then I'm going to have to deal with two sides when I take it down instead of just one. So I'm kind of like, now I think I might go back to the other side and start working on that some more, and then I'll resuspend it, and then I'll work on balancing it out a little more. I just don't want to overdo it in one spot, because I think sometimes I can have a tendency to like kind of overdo things in one place, and then it throws everything off because I'm focusing only on one thing and not looking at the whole. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
What I find myself doing most often is capturing moments that go unobserved, and I feel that I bring light to those small moments in time that capture the essence of time that passes, or the essence of, it's really hard to explain, moments that are very brief and have a sense of fragileness to them. I find myself in a lot of those moments where I'm capturing a very intimate and very, for me, moving scene where I have no option but to respond, to capture it, because it's a talent that I've been given. It's something that I'm good at and I find joy in. and I don't feel like I have to pay anybody back.
So if there's a piece I want to redo, I'm gonna have to get the heat gun and remelt it because I can't, like, obviously can't dip it back in. I mean, I could take it off and like crumple it and dip it back in, but
What's a heat gun?
it's like a really high-powered and more dangerous hair dryer. It's just really hot. It melts stuff. Like I did one piece in 2014 where I used it a lot, just because what I was doing was vertical, and it was mounted on the wall, and I had to like use the heat gun so things would drip down because I couldn't like just throw it on there. I mean, I did throw some stuff on there, but it looked a little more splattered than it would have if I would have just done the heat gun. So, and again, it could be nice. I don't know. Try to save like every little piece that I can because it's not the most available, easily available stuff to find.
I was just thinking today that, well, obstacles change, I suppose, but one that I've been encountering recently is this sort of like fear that this isn't like valid, or that what I'm spending so much time in, because I mean, like, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy, and then it's like the fear that what if this isn't, what if it's not valid or like worthwhile. I mean, I know it is for me, but like, what if like this actually isn't going to turn into anything at all? And those are fears that like it's anything that you make, whether that thing turns into anything, influences the next thing. So that's comforting in a way, but still wondering, like, is this legitimate? So I think that's sort of that fear or anxiety. Can be overwhelming, but then sometimes I just try to not think about it, and like, in a way you just can't think about it or I can't think about it when I'm making things, because it can get in the way of just making stuff. I think the slowness, which is something I enjoy. I enjoy the slowness of it to a degree, because it makes me, like, we live in a really fast-paced culture, and it's easy to just like fall into this pace. So the slowness of making art is something that I definitely enjoy, but it's also something that can be really frustrating because it takes so long to even make it look like anything changed from yesterday.
It's a long
up here.